The stock market, in my opinion, is getting ready to go through a crash or correction. Now, we are going to go through what I am talking about, why I am saying this, as well as how you guys can get rich from a stock market crash or correction. And this is no clickbait whatsoever. This is all legit. Taking a small amount of money, a couple $100s, turning that into $50,000, $100,000. That is all possible when you are playing big time events like this one we are about to see. So let's get into the video, guys. Hit that like button for me. I do greatly appreciate it, as well as consider subscribing to the channel. Now, the biggest thing you guys need to be made aware about, and we're going to break it all down for you guys, among many other factors we are going to talk about, and the main reason I am hedging my portfolio, and I am going to personally get very rich if we can time this correctly, but I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own research. I am not that person, so don't make any trades based off of what I say, and always validate everything that is said in YouTube videos. But is the fact that China is signaling they are targeting to cut the RRR rate. This is the reserve requirement ratio. This is basically the amount of money that banks have to keep on their balance sheet. So they are trying to stir up economic activity in China. This is a leading indicator that economic activity in China is starting to slow down. Now, there has also been talks that they are looking to cut their interest rate, and this is what is going to be very important. If this does happen, we will 100% see a huge downturn in the stock market like we have seen in the past. Now, for the Chinese interest rate, this currently sits at about 3.85%. Now, we've seen 3 interest rate declines in 2019 and obviously 2 in 2020, but 2019 is going to be more important here because obviously, as we know, 2020 was the pandemic and pretty much everybody did cut rates. Now, keep this in mind. This was in the later half over the second half. This was about in August, even July and August of 2019. Now, if you come to the S&P 500, if you come to 2019, you did see this market decline during the first rate cuts. It was about 15% decline, and then you did see another 10% decline in the markets due to the sole reasoning that China cut its interest rates. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, why is Chinese interest rates important to America? Now, America is the largest economy in the world by total GDP per year, but China is the second largest economy by total GDP per year. Now, what is seen in China as far as right now and throughout history, especially over the past 5 years or so, what happens in China tends to happen in America and vice versa. So if they are cutting rates right now, when everybody thinks the economy is going to do great and is going to flourish, regardless if it is going to or not, that is going to spook investors 100%, and you are going to see a sell-off in the overall stock markets in America and throughout the rest of the world. Now, this is not to say for a 100% fact this will actually happen, but for every single time in history where China has hinted about doing this or said they planned on doing this, it happened. And there has not been many rate cuts or rate hikes in the history of China. Very few at all. Back in 2015, you see quite a few, but also through 2019 as well. Now, let's just, for a quick reference, let's go over 2015. What did happen there? If you pull up the all-time on the SPY, you did see a bit of a crash during this time as well. Now, this was not as big. This was about a 10% crash, give or take, but 10% nevertheless is a pretty big move in the overall stock market, and that is enough to get insanely rich. Now, if you guys have been subscribed to this channel for a while, you watch these videos, you have definitely seen me talk about this today. This is Wells Fargo tells customers it's shuttering all personal lines of credit. They said the line of credit from $3,000 to $100,000 in revolving credit lines was pitched as a way to consolidate higher interest credit card debt, pay for home renovations, or avoid overdraft fees on linked checking accounts. Now, why this is so important is because Wells Fargo is seen as the most risky bank, and they have the most liabilities. So if a market downtrend were to happen, they would be the hardest hit. So it's not a surprise you're seeing them shut down these lines of credit. They ultimately want to de-risk their balance sheet and their portfolio. So this is a clear sign that a lot of banks are going to do this as well and really restrict capital. That's what it comes down to. To keep these markets flowing good, you need these banks giving out capital left and right. That is pretty much what the economy does revolve around. And once you do start to see banks doing this, that is ultimately going to also lead investors to question the markets as they do currently stand. And once China does drop their interest rates, that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Now, those are the two factors. You could go on and on about the technical analysis, how the SPY is due, or the overall market in general is due for a correction or a crash. Just take a look at this. If you've seen a stock do this, you would say, yeah, that is going to come down sooner than later. I might just wait to make an investment. That is basically how other investors are looking at the overall markets right now, with some analysts even guiding down for lower expectations of future gains in the stock market going ahead into the future. But let's talk about how you guys can get rich and play this downtrend to your guys' advantage. And it only comes down to options. Obviously, you can't make money in a market downtrend if you don't know about options, but calls and puts, you're betting on the stock to go down. You're putting money down, as I like to say it. You're putting money down, betting the stock goes down. Calls, you're calling on the stock to go up in price. Now, obviously, the biggest way you could do this and make money is just S&P 500 puts. I do have one of these, a $418 put that expires July 16th. Yes, I do think this event will happen sooner than later, but it could be quite a while still. It could even be a month away or so. But we are already starting to see the markets taking a big hit. We were down, closed the day down about 1% across the board on the markets, down about 2% at the lowest point. Already in futures trading, we are down 0.41% across all the indexes. So tomorrow is going to be a pretty red day, I do say so myself. But that is generally one of the best ways you guys can play a market downtrend is just S&P 500 puts, as well as the UVXY, which tracks the volatility and the fear in the markets. Now, this is an inverse ETF. So when the stock market is going down, especially at a fast rate, you'll see the UVXY start to go up in price. Now, there's also the VIX. That is the same thing. It tracks the fear and the volatility in the market. So you could buy calls on this, and the VIX does have a huge potential to move big. If the stock market goes down 1%, like you see, this went up about 12% for the day. And this, keep in mind, this is designed to go down. So you can make a lot of money if you really nail these events on the head. But if you don't, and if you are wrong, you are going to lose all of your money. You could see these huge spikes from $200 up to $199 up to almost $300 back here in 2020, in September and August of 2020. So you could see huge potential moves and gains in the UVXY and the VIX. Now, another thing that I really like to play is the QQQ put. This tracks the biggest 100 NASDAQ listed companies. Essentially, you just be buying puts just like you would with the S&P 500, but it is more confined, right? And a lot of people do say tech is overvalued. Yes, we have had a bit of a sell-off, but some people still believe tech is overvalued, and a lot of tech stocks would be some of the first to go if the overall market did decline. You're going to see a lot of people, one, sell out. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of fear and panic, but you're going to see a lot of that money go back into value stocks like Coca-Cola and some true, tried and tested longer term value companies. So the NASDAQ would probably get hit pretty substantially. Back March 20th, 2020 at the low, the QQQ was at $170. Now, if we do get a market downtrend, I think the worst case scenario, you're going to be looking at about this low September 18th, 2020. That is not to say it could go down less than that or more than that. That is just what I would expect to happen if a market downtrend does happen, and that would put us back down to $266.87 on the QQQ. That would be a huge drop. That would be about a $100 drop. So if you bought some of these puts, you would make a lot of money if we did go back down to those levels, especially if you did catch it right on the head. Like if you bought this $350 put for $168, if the QQQ dropped $100, you would make $10,000 per options contract that you did have. I'm not saying to make this trade. I might personally make this trade. If you guys want to be notified when I make a trade, it's never a recommendation. It is only simply what I am doing for educational purposes only. Check out the link down below for the buy and sell alerts. You'll be notified in real time every single time a trade is bought or sold. But these are the best ways that I do like to play a potential market downtrend and a market crash. They do work phenomenally well. There is other things like this SPXS, the daily S&P 500 Bear 3X inverse leverage ETF. This is the same as pretty much the UVXY, just a little bit different. You really have to see a huge market move to see a big move in this inverse ETF. But that is pretty much all for this video, guys. That is how I am personally going to be playing this market downtrend. If you guys like the video, you want more videos like this, hit that like button, comment down below, as well as consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know in the comment section what you guys do think about this. Now, if you guys are not signed up with Public, check out the link down below in the description. No deposit necessary, no need to even link a bank account. Get up to $70 in your choice of free stock in about 3 minutes time. It is literally free money, as well as there is a link for Webull. Deposit $100, get 4 free stocks, each of them potentially worth up to $2,400 a piece. Now, with that being said, that is going to conclude this video. I will see you guys in the next one.